The Hog's Tie is brought to you by TicketClub.com, your one-stop shop for live events nationwide. Whether you're looking for game, theater, or live performance tickets, don't sweat it. TicketClub.com has you covered. So make sure you're going there for all your live entertainment needs, and make sure you're clicking over to them from the banner at the top of thehogstie.com.
By fans, for fans, the Hog Style. And now, here's your host, Sean Conti.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hog's Tie pregame show with the New York Giants. Last time I said we should have won this game, and we did. But this time the picture is decidedly murkier. So let's get into it. It's the Redskins' second matchup with New York this Sunday. Steve Thomas and Alex Zeese are with me as always. How are you guys doing?
I'm just glad we had a quiet week in Redskins land with no controversy and not much going on. You know, that makes me happy.
Well, I've been drinking since the game, and I haven't really stopped after that game. So that's also a true story.
Steve with the denial, Alex with the truth. That's what we have here, a balance.
Have you been driving a car at all, though, Alex?
No, I'm not that kind of person.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, you're not. No, I mean, yeah, listen, I mean, it's been utter chaos, man. In terms of Redskins stuff.
My goodness, yes. So, I mean, to that point, we have two things probably we should talk about up front, and that's we have this listener poll, but we also have your injuries, and you said we had another important one to go over, so maybe we should just do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's rip off the Band-Aid, so to speak.
All right, well, you want me to do the IR list or injuries?
IR, yes.
Yeah.
IR, okay.
See, I did a pun with ripping off a Band-Aid. It was the whole thing. But
yeah, it went over my head just there for a minute. Okay, Quentin Dunbar, Trey Quinn, Jonathan Cooper, IR. You know, if you recall, boys and girls, Trey came back off of IR about, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
A week ago, and now he's back on, which means the Redskins just utterly wasted, for no reason whatsoever, one of their two returning players. So that's out. Our starting cornerback, Dunbar, is out.
That sucks.
And now recall that last week when Casanova McKenzie went on IR, they never replaced him. So we actually had an open spot. So the Redskins signed 4 players to replace the 3 they lost. One of them, which we'll get to here in a minute, quarterback Josh Johnson. The center, Demetrius Rainey, who was with us in the offseason and got cut in the last cuts. He was on the practice squad for a while. Somebody named Zach Karen, which, quite honestly, Zach, don't know who you are. And then Marcus Smith.
I mean, do we even know what he is?
He's a guard. Did I not say? Oh, he's
a
guard. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's a guard. They're signing. They brought in a new janitorial guy. You know. Yeah. And then defensive end Marcus Smith, who most people know, not in a good way probably. And in terms of the injury list, meaning the players who are on the team, out on the active roster and injured, the big one is Chase Roullier. Chase has not been on the injury list all year, and he's popped up, had a DNP Wednesday for a knee. Jay addressed this in his press conference and said, he's a little banged up. How Jay...
the typical.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But the DNPs other than Chase were Ryan Anderson, Tony Bergstrom, Matt Ioannidis, Colt McCoy, Monte Nicholson, Adrian Peterson, and then Moreau, Moses, Norman, and Trent Williams were limited. So that is injuries so far. Now, some of those are just vet days off. Like Adrian Peterson, that's a veteran day off,
Right.
Alex did Matt Ioannidis tell you anything?
No, I don't get we didn't get a chance to talk,
He left for work too early. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't at work. We had the whole Bush Memorial thing, so government closed.
Rest in peace, President Bush, by the way. I love the guy. Rest in peace.
Yes, absolutely. Good side note. Well, look, as far as that list, the problem with these damn DNP Wednesdays is that there's always a good mix of nothing to worry about and is that something to worry about? There's always
Chase
a good mix of both
something to freaking worry about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
AP, on the other hand, par for the course makes sense.
Right. AP doesn't practice ever anymore. He's just
no, that's not true.
I know. I am. It's called being facetious.
Steve's not a facetious guy, Alex, and you know
I'm trying to give you guys the real information. He does practice. It's just not on Wednesdays.
No,
but,
he gets his day off or two. Sometimes he gets 2.
We are one, misstep away from the start of the Demetrius Rainey era at center, and nobody wants that. Even Mr. and Mrs. Rainey don't want to see that.
I want to see it, Steve. I'm ready. I don't care at all anymore. My expectations are perfectly tempered at this point. Let's go into full test some guys out mode. Why not? Let's do it.
Sure.
Actually, people are going to hate that I said that. I didn't say that. Forget that I said any of that, people listening to this. People are going to hate that I said that. I didn't mean it.
Yes,
okay, so that's the injury list. Quite extensive. Let's go over to... I don't know. Should we do the poll first real quick?
Let's do the poll. Because we got to talk about the poll, because the poll's about our starting quarterback, right?
Yes, it is.
That'll lead us right in.
Our third starting quarterback, to be
Right.
exact. I was sitting there thinking, what do people really think about Mark Sanchez? Because, the opinions have been all over the board. A lot of people
they're
hate
not.
him. A lot of people hate him, and we're reading social media, and if there's one thing that I've learned is that social media is not an adequate reflection of reality or life. And there's
That's fair.
People are
Speaking
not
my language, Dave.
Yeah. So, but nonetheless, I polled social media, so my poll didn't get an adequate reflection of life either. But the question was, specifically, understanding that Mark Sanchez actually has a pretty good arm, understanding that he was on his couch 2 weeks ago, is there a chance that he can come in here and do well for these next 4 games? The 4 choices we had, because I did have 4 this time, he'll be great, he'll be decent, bad, but it could be worse, or he's going to be terrible. So those are the 4 choices. What do you guys think the people voted for, and what would you personally vote for?
I love that we're getting back to this. This is my favorite thing to do on the show, is the what do we think of the poll.
Suck at this. I'm so bad.
I think I'm with the public here, and I think it's going to be a god-awful dumpster fire mess of a situation. We're going to just get embarrassed constantly as long as he's the starting quarterback, and God have mercy upon us all.
So that means you think he's going to be great.
That's what I got.
think was that the worst option? Yeah.
No, the worst option was, I'm just kidding. The worst option was he's going to be terrible.
Okay, yes, that.
Okay, Sean, what do you think?
Wait, is that what you think?
Yes,
and
that's
what
everyone.
Okay.
Everyone thinks that.
Okay. I am going to agree with Alex in that I think that's probably where the public's going with this. But look, people have short memories. It could always be worse. We as Redskins fans should damn well know that by now. So I'm going to go with
Werfel started for this team at one point in time.
Yeah. Tim Hasselbeck. Remember Tim Hasselbeck?
Yeah.
I don't want to.
He was like 22, and Steve, you have more hair than he had at 22. So, he was a mess of a human being.
Listen, John Beck started for this team.
Wow. Yeah, John Beck.
Oh, Johnny. Yeah, I remember the donuts he used to put up. Those were fun. So, see, that's exactly my point, guys. It could always be worse. So I'm going to go with option C. What's the truth, Steve?
Okay, the truth is I don't know if this is the truth, but the public decidedly believes he's going to be terrible. And by the way, I only had this poll up for 3 hours, and you guys really came through, and we got a ton of votes in just 3 hours, so thank you for that.
People love to hate Mark Sanchez. It's just one of those facts.
So. Yeah, apparently. Because 43% of you said that he's going to be terrible. Matter of fact, this just went straight down the line in inverse order. 34% of you voted for option C, which is what Sean voted for, bad, but it could be worse. 21% of you said he'll be decent, and the brave, proud, and true 2% of you said he'll be great.
So more than 75% of the voters said he's bad at some level.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly right. You chalk me up into category B, he'll be decent. Maybe it's just because I'm
You're Mr. Sunshine and Rainbows when it comes to stuff like this.
No, you know what it is? Well, maybe. Maybe I'm being more optimistic. I watched his presser. And the dude worked the press conference room, so I'm just gonna give him credit.
Guy.
I'm going to link his press conference to his play on the field. No, in all seriousness, he's got a decent arm, and he's had a week now to prepare. I think he'll be at a minimum be better than last week. So I think he won't be awful. Let me say it like that. So that's the poll. And if you want comments, again, it was only up for 3 hours. And I have not read a ton of these comments, but mainly they're fairly negative. Pam C wrote in because we always have to read the women. She wrote with that makeshift
because we're so appreciative, to clarify,
right? Absolutely. Not because we're creepy.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. We want more female participants on the site.
Yes, so please.
What Pam said is with that makeshift O-line, he's doomed.
Doomed.
Somebody named C. Brewster _23 said, come on, it's Mark Sanchez. A guy who calls himself La Homie, who's got he's got a Brazilian flag, and that might be an Italian flag. Anyway,
okay.
He wrote Mark isn't great. He's not even average. But the good news is we don't need him to be. He can be decent if we rely on our running backs, Reed, and our defense. Alex didn't do great at all, but hey, we were 6-3 at one point. So he's got a point. Put me into Lahomies category. Here's Marshall says he's terrible. Check the tape says, so he didn't, yeah. Check the tape agrees. I can't read what he wrote, but he agrees with Marshall. Yeah, it goes
It was just that much profanity, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we get the trend with that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
people are not exactly giving Sanchez a ringing endorsement,
No.
which is completely fair, considering his history with other teams and what we've seen so far. But look,
Yes.
Right.
what is fair? What really can you expect? And that's what I'm talking about, tempered expectations, and that's the perfect segue into talking about New York. So, with all of this in mind, I started this by saying, man, we went into New York pretty confident, I felt like, last time. It was a game that we matched up well against. Things have definitely changed since then, but New York is still a struggling team. So, particularly on defense. So, maybe we should start there. Redskins offense, what do you realistically expect here against New York's defense?
Well, first of all, we're one hit away from the Josh Johnson era.
Yeah.
So be aware of that, because we got to go over Josh Johnson at some point. Because
let's talk New York a little bit, and then get back to Josh Johnson, because that's
if nothing else.
show.
My real goal is just to have Alex read off the list of teams he's been on. That's what I really want to do.
Oh my God!
'Cause
Let's
it's
just
fun.
do it now. We could just do it now.
All right. You want the list real quick?
Yes.
Okay. Josh Johnson
all in
has
one breath. All in one breath.
In one breath. I don't think I can read that many words in one breath. I don't have the circular breathing like I did when I played saxophone as a kid. All right, let me start and say it's been 10 years since he started in the league in 2008. Josh Johnson came in the league on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then he went to San Francisco and played for the 49ers. That's when he washed out of the league for a little while, played for the Sacramento Mountain Lions of the UFL, which I actually watched that, so
Why
go
does that
me.
not surprise me?
Yes. Then he played for the Cleveland Browns, then the Cincinnati Bengals, then the 49ers again, then the Bengals again. Then he went to the New York Jets, then the Indianapolis Colts, then the Buffalo Bills, the Baltimore Ravens, the New York Giants, Houston Texans, Oakland Raiders. He spent a little bit of time with the San Diego Fleet of the AAF.
Which hasn't even been in existence yet.
No, but he was their quarterback on their squad, and now he's with the Redskins.
Right.
16 teams in 10 years.
Got to be a record.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the last pass he threw for an NFL team was in 2011. I mean, the guy's got...
I think that was against the Redskins. He played against the Redskins when he was in Tampa at one point.
Don't tell us that. Good Lord. Are you serious?
Yeah, I think he threw 2 interceptions and a touchdown.
That I don't remember.
No, he'll fit right in.
I mean, look. I mean, he is what he is. You know, what
That's
can you
shocking.
say? I
That's
mean,
an extensive list. I want to know if that's a record. Can we find that out?
It might not be a record. There's got to be some dude who's been bumming around. Fitzpatrick's been on 100 teams, right?
I'd have to dig it up. I'm not going to be able to dig it up, live on the air here.
No, we'll figure it out.
But he's got just briefly, he's got a career quarterback rating of 57.7.
Woo!
Completion now, mind you, he's only had 177 pass attempts. So statistically, this is a bit skewed. But 54% completion percentage. I mean, the resume is not good. Jay Gruden in the press conference on Wednesday said the reason they signed him is he's very familiar with Jay's terminology from his time in Cincinnati. Again, I mean, you're digging a guy off the couch in the middle of December. I don't know what anybody expected, but something like this.
Yeah. Wow.
His one saving grace is that he's very fast. He runs a sub 4.40, or at least he did at one point in time. So the saving grace on Josh Johnson is that he's very athletic, and so if all just completely goes to hell and he's playing and it goes to even a lower level of hell, if nothing else, just give him the ball and let him run.
There you go. Run the read option over and over and over again.
Yeah, right.
Do what you can. Okay, so things are pretty precarious here at the quarterback position, as they always are.
We've got Sanchez, man. It's not precarious. Come on.
Yeah, Sanchez. Okay, so let's talk about him then, and let's talk about New York a little bit. Not great things from Sanchez this past week. You're right. He said some good things in the presser, but safe to say, I mean, look, stepping back, it seems pretty obvious to me that the defense is going to have to step up because, to recap, Adrian Peterson, one-play game last week. Saving grace was that one play, and then obviously we didn't see anything from the quarterbacks like we already know. So this is going to have to be a defensive game. I just don't see much happening. Make me a compelling argument that we'll be able to pull this one out.
Well, okay.
Offensively, that is.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Okay. The saving grace here is that the Giants' defense really isn't all that successful, okay? They're giving up almost 380 yards a game, 377.7. They're bad on third downs. They're 24th in the league in third downs, 25th in points. They give up a lot of points. They give up a lot of yards. Their defense has been inconsistent. They've had their moments, for sure, but their defense is inconsistent. And if we catch them at an inconsistent moment, because mind you, this is also in Landover,
yeah,
at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. So it's look, the problem is they're inconsistent, but they do have talent. They've got Linden Collins, in the defensive backfield. Janoris Jenkins, has talent. So they do have talent, but this group this year hasn't been able to put together. So if I were the Redskins, and I'm not, but I should be, but I'm not, they're giving up almost 4.5 yards a carry on the ground.
Right.
So teams have rushed a lot on them, okay? Yeah. 339 rushing attempts. It's like a broken record. But, if Jay can truly stick to the run game and get it established and then let Sanchez work off play action out of that, things might go well because this is a team that you can move the ball against.
Yeah.
You can. I promise you can.
Right.
No, absolutely. I think everything that you just said is legitimate. Who was it? Reed and I think Doxson both had season-high targets last time we faced them.
Yes.
So, you got to force issues there because you're right, they could be gaining on. But just the thing that worries me is the fact that this was a damn close game against them last time. And our team was arguably healthier. And, better for a lot of, certainly at quarterback play, we at least had a more safe player at that point. So
right.
It worries me. We've gotten a little bit worse.
Don't burst my optimism.
I know. I'm just trying to make the counterpoint because it's fair to say we can't forget that this was a game that we really could have lost last time. It should have been a much more decisive victory, and things are a lot less certain now.
Well, I'll give you even some more uncertainty if you want to hear that. The reason why the Giants have a crappy record and they're 4-8. The reason is that they lost. They lost 7 of their first 8 games.
Yeah.
Since that time, however, they've won 3 of 4. They beat the 49ers, the Buccaneers, who are terrible, and then they squeaked out an overtime win against the Bears last week, and the Bears are decidedly not terrible.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's just a function of, them getting better. If they're playing, they play at least 1-2 bad teams.
Right. Maybe they're figuring out how to play. It's a new coach and all that stuff.
Yeah, because they're facing another bad team, hypothetically, this week.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably the Giants version of the Hogstye right at this moment is saying, "Listen, guys, this is a team we should beat." That's what the Giants are thinking.
Yeah,
right.
That's a fair point.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think. What can you really say? This is like the part of the year of the season where it's so difficult to analyze because everything is so completely up in the air. What else do we have on offense?
What you have
the answer is really nothing.
But. What you have on offense, is I think for those of you who read my takeaways article this week, Josh Doxson is coming into his own a little bit. He's been better in the past couple of weeks.
Right.
If he looked good at the beginning of the last game.
The good thing you can say about Mark Sanchez is he does have a fairly big arm. I'm not saying the guy is,
it's not very accurate, but he can get it deep.
He's got velocity and he can force the ball into tight windows. It's just an accuracy thing with him. But he does have a big arm, and so that if he can get comfortable enough to where he can take some shots and open things up a little bit, open the offense up a little bit, that's better for everybody. So I think that's if Sanchez can get comfortable enough to do that, that helps us, and that gets Josh Doxson involved. Jameson Crowder's back, out of the slot, which is good because we lost Trey Quinn. And so there are some weapons. It's just really and truly a matter of how comfortable Sanchez is, because if they can do that, that helps Adrian Peterson, helps everybody. So, there you go.
Yeah, I think that's probably, that's the best thing you can say about him is that he does have a strong arm. I just don't expect him to hit, much more than 50% of the passes that he throws. And I expect at least a couple turnovers from him because he doesn't have the in-pocket awareness that you need. He doesn't have what Colt McCoy had or Alex Smith has in that regard.
That's so true.
And with the way our line was playing last week, and I expect it to continue, he's going to be running a lot because these guards can't really hold up, and Trent Williams doesn't look very good right now. So
he's not healthy.
He's not healthy, and he hasn't been healthy for a while.
Well, to put it into context, if you want some context, the only time he really he started half a year with the Eagles in 2014.
Right.
But in his 4 years with the Jets, when he was the starter and he was the anointed one and everything, highest completion percentage was 56.7.
Yeah.
That was back in 2000.
He's never been an accurate quarterback.
No, he's not. I mean, and he's been a big disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
This is the number 1 overall pick out of USC, Heisman Trophy winner, all of that stuff, and he didn't ever really come through. But, I mean, he's experienced. I think, the reason why you sign a Mark Sanchez over a Josh Johnson or E.J. Manuel or a guy else like that is he has played a lot. He is a legitimate starting quarterback, or at least he has been. And so, if he can get it figured out and we don't do things like lose Chase Roullier and our 8th string guard or, whatever we're down to now, give him a little bit of time, it's not over. Maybe I'm being overly optimistic here, but it's not just an automatic L.
Sean?
You just have to have some things go right.
Sean, it's over.
Dude, I'm with you. I'm trying to bite my tongue here. I'm trying to grit through this positivity, and it's taking everything I got.
And what's odd is I'm not normally the positive one.
I know.
I think you are.
Am I?
Yeah.
I picked this team to be 5-11, and that record is coming. Looks better and better every week. By the way,
You're looking like the smartest man in the room. That is
so.
Absolutely
Don't
true.
ever say I'm overly positive.
Yeah, I think we have to. Oh my God, I think we have to win out at this point for me to get this, don't we? This is,
you said 9-7, I think, right? Or 10-6?
Yeah, I think I said 9.
What did you say, Alex?
I said 8-8.
See, if you win this thing, I have to buy you a trophy. I'm going to be really upset.
God.
Well, I mean, I'm crushing the whole week by week prediction. I'm like 10-2 on that. It's ridiculous.
God, I don't even want to know again. I know I got another one. It was my second one all year called correctly. It was 2 weeks ago. Okay, yeah. So actually, you just reminded me. I just realized that in terms of the Giants getting it together, everybody in the NFC East is coming off a win except for us, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yes, that is correct.
Everybody is surging here towards the end of the season. Okay, great.
And we're falling apart like we always do.
Oh, and by the way, the good news is that Linden Collins is out. I forgot to mention that. I forgot to say that when we were going over this before. Linden Collins apparently is, according to the notes I've seen, is already out against the Redskins. So that's a good thing.
That is
a good thing for us. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Very good. Do we want to switch on over and talk about this Giants offense?
Yeah, we can. But I do want to. I looked it up. I found somebody who played for more teams than Josh Johnson, and that's Shane Graham, kicker. 19 teams.
Kicker.
19 teams.
Yeah.
Kickers have 9 lives. Apparently, they have 19 lives.
So we're not going to go through it, but I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Well, there you go. All right. So here we go. We got Eli Manning. We got OBJ.
Yes.
We got Saquon Barkley. We got some more talent on the offensive side of the ball for New York than on the defensive side of the ball. Defense not coming off the greatest game in terms of our defense. So this could be another struggle. What do you guys think? Realistic expectations. I don't see a huge amount of change in terms of our last matchup against New York to now. There's still kind of
I mean, the bigger change is that we're not going to have Dunbar, and we're probably not going to have Ioannidis in there. And, those are 2 young, talented players that we're going to be lacking. And the guys who backfill for them, I mean, Tim Settle's doing an okay job, but the corners we have not impressed me behind Dunbar and Norman.
First of all, I don't know if Dunbar definitely won't be there because he's on IR. But I don't know if we can just proclaim Matt Ioannidis out. That is not.
Well, he's missed what, 2 weeks now. It's week by week.
It's week by week. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the corners, I mean, look, Greg Stroman is a 7th round pick. Danny Johnson is an undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
Adonis Alexander, was he a 3rd rounder in the supplemental draft?
4th rounder.
4th rounder.
Yeah.
Okay. These guys are all young.
Yep.
And they're not going to be the ones matched up on Odell Beckham. That's going to be Josh Norman.
Sure.
You know, and he's got the most important Listen, that's the most important matchup because the way the Giants roll is the same thing we said before. But if you look at who are the playmakers on this Giants offense,
it's Barkley Beckham. Yeah, I know.
Barkley, 195 carries. You know, Wayne Gallman is the backup, 29 carries. Odell Beckham, 124 targets.
Right, and I think Barkley's got something like 600 receiving yards too. He's
got 91 targets.
Yeah,
he had 73 yards against us in the last game. Those two combined for 200.
Those two guys are the key to the team.
Sure.
Sterling Shepard is the other one. You know, 76 targets, 52 receptions, 630 yards. I mean, those are the guys. And so the game plan is to yet again match Josh Norman up against Odell Beckham and hope for the best.
Right.
You know, and then key on Saquon Barkley. You know, do whatever you can to stop Saquon Barkley. If you do those two things, you have a decent chance of winning the game.
I understand that, but I'm just saying those other parts of the matchup do not favor us now. The who goes against Sterling Shepard, who covers because they have what 3 good receivers usually at any given time. So
Evan Ingram is tight end, is a pretty good tight end.
Right.
You know, everybody knows how we do against tight ends. It didn't work out so well last week.
No, it did not.
Yeah. I mean, these are all good points. When Eli Manning has time, he gets the ball to these guys, and that's absolutely what we have to stop. Now, in terms of Barkley, we did, for the most part, stop him last time on the ground. It was just he killed us.
We definitely did. That's true.
And, you know, I mean, the point is well made. This is going to be, I mean, the work's cut out for them in terms of the defensive backfield this week. But, man, it's just there's a lot to question in terms of, like you said, the youth there, and then health problems along the defensive line, too, that we're hearing about.
And listen, I mean, Manning, you know, has taken a lot of criticism this year, but the truth of the matter is, by his standards, he's having a pretty good year. You know, he's up to almost 68% completion percentage. Mm-hmm. You know, he's thrown for over 3,200 yards, 15 touchdowns, quarterback rating 93.7. I mean, all of those for him are pretty good numbers. You know, so he's not. Yes, he's Frankenstein back there. There's no doubt about it. He's not going to move anywhere, but you know, he's passing the ball fairly well. So, you know, is he washed up? I don't know, but you know, he can definitely get the ball. He can definitely still push the ball downfield.
Yeah, he can.
To a certain extent.
I mean, he's still more. He's probably. I would take him over Mark Sanchez.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's like an ad lib. Fill in the blank. I'll take blank over Mark Sanchez. Anything will work.
Would you take E.J. Manuel over Mark Sanchez?
No, I
okay, there's one.
To clarify, yeah, I mean, I completely understand he deserves to be the guy right now for us, but I'm just saying, you know, it doesn't mean much, and I'm not counting the real bottom of the barrel dudes. Yeah, turnovers helped huge last time. We can't forget that as well. We got 2 of them, which definitely ended up being a huge key to the game. This is the game where Kerrigan had that big. Is this the game where Kerrigan had that big strip sack fumble for a touchdown? I'm forgetting.
Was it? I don't remember if that was this game or not.
I don't remember either. It's all blurring together. But either way, I know we got 2 touchdowns against New York last time. That's going to be huge again.
More about the Giants' offense. These guys are just atrociously awful in the red zone. This is the thing this is the single biggest thing that's that and sacks. They're awful in giving up sacks and they're awful in the red zone. Those 2 things are what's stopping this offense. You know, they are 30th in the NFL in red zone offense in terms of touchdown scoring. They've given up 41 sacks already with a quarterback who's 180 years old at this point. You know, so that tells you, you know, look, they need to blitz this guy. You know, they need to blitz him. They need to hit him, you know, and in terms of the red zone, you know, let's hope and pray they continue to be inefficient in the red zone.
And, you know, I would say in terms of red zone stuff, we've been playing pretty good in the red zone on defense. Last week, it gets totally skewed because they put up 14 points, but it was a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, right, and then 2 field goals. So we actually had some good red zone plays last week on defense. That would, you know, that could serve us very well in this game.
You know why? It's because the Eagles themselves aren't very good in the red zone.
Well, there you go.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are just about the worst team in the NFL in the red zone, and so I mean, it's to a certain extent. I think this has been a function of who we play.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which is kind of the defense, really and truly. You know, that's been the defensive trend all year long. You know, I think
you and I are like Batman and the Joker on this one. We're just like destined, I think, to disagree on this forever, Steve.
That's okay. It wouldn't be boring if we agreed on everything.
Oh, exactly. I love it. Yeah, I know. I'm just always more partial to giving the defense credit, but I think you're making a really good point. And partially, it is due to how well these teams play against us in the red zone.
And I'm just going against statistically. I'm just saying statistically, these guys are, yes, they're 8th in points. That's the most important thing, but they've given up a ton of yards. They've given up a ton of passing yards.
Yeah.
Passing yards per attempt, meaning that's a measure of how far teams are going downfield. They're really bad at that. They're terrible on third downs. They're keeping teams out of the end zone, and it's mainly because of turnovers. The Redskins have been very good at turnovers. They've gotten 20. The defense has gotten 22 turnovers this year.
Wow, has it really?
Yeah, they're plus 9.
High.
Yeah, they've gotten a ton of turnovers. And so, but between the teams that just aren't good in the red zone and the turnovers, and they're doing decent on sacks, that's what's keeping them in these games. And that's why you see teams march up and down the field on them, and then things like the Josh Norman interception happens, or things like a sack happen. It's not because they're really stopping anybody. They're decent in rushing yards. They're giving up 4.2 yards per attempt, but they're by no means are they good. They're decent. That's kind of a middle-of-the-pack number. And so, if they let Saquon Barkley go crazy, and rush for over 5 yards a carry, things aren't going to go well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think that's absolutely fair. Okay, well, what else on defense? Because let's do some game predictions, unless we have lingering thoughts about this game in general.
Look, is this game even really about the Giants?
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
This is really about the Redskins, and it's been a complete mash unit. It's a mash unit game again. This season has become a total disaster in terms of injuries for the second year in a row. I counted today. I haven't updated the website yet. It'll probably won't be till the weekend, but they've got 17 on IR plus Colt McCoy, who technically probably should be on IR, and he's
right.
not.
We're almost getting to that 20 number, or what did we have? 21 last year.
We had 24 last year.
24.
We can do it. We can get there. We've got 4 more games.
Come on, guys.
Hard. Yeah, come on. You can get there. But anyway, it's really more about, can the Redskins put together an offense that can look like an NFL offense, given that we've got something called Luke Bowanka starting at guard, and Mr. Butt Fumble at quarterback, and a center which may not be out there. Given all those disasters, can the Redskins put together competent offensive and defensive play? That's the question. That matters far more than we're facing the New York Giants, in my opinion.
I think that's probably true. The only other thought I have, and I don't really... Steve, you were arguing with somebody, and I saw it on Twitter too, that some people are claiming the Redskins are hiding some stuff about injuries, to leg injuries to guys. Or...
Oh, all I said was I don't want to say what I said, what I wrote on. I don't want to say it on the air.
Okay, that's fine. But yeah, I saw other people mentioning on Twitter that the Redskins apparently covered up some leg injury or something to somebody.
Well, I think the larger point here is that what people were criticizing is they are blaming the Redskins and the Redskins training staff for the rash of injuries. I don't know if that's true.
We've heard it before.
Yeah, we've heard it before. My thought is, no training staff's going to stop a broken leg and a torn ACL.
Sure.
But I don't know if that's true or not true. But
Well, how do you hide a leg injury? Like, what's the accusation?
Well, the accusation is that they're misdiagnosing
the
injuries, or that they're lying about the injuries. One or the other. That's the accusation, and who knows?
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Okay, yeah. It's almost like that kind of thing. We probably shouldn't speculate too much until we know we know. All right, let's do predictions then. You guys want to do this?
Sure.
All right, I'll kick us off since I'm making us do it. I'm going to go back to basically what I said at the beginning, which is that I think every point that has been made tonight makes complete sense. There is a path to victory here. We could pull it together. It's about how well we can get our own heads in the game, so to speak. We're going to beat ourselves, or we're not, because New York is susceptible. I just keep coming back to the fact that this was a damn close game when we were healthier and we had more entrenched guys at starting positions. This seems so much more precarious. I'm going to call this one, we won by a touchdown. I'm going to say Giants score. It's going to be low scoring. Let's call this one Giants 13, Redskins 7.
Wow. Pessimistic.
That's close. It's
I don't think that's pessimistic because what I'm going to say is going to be pessimistic.
Go ahead, say it. Go ahead.
Giants 35, Redskins 10.
Oh man,
Ooh.
that's a big. You know what? I mean, look, football is a game of inches. You know, the inches are all around us.
Al. Yeah.
Yeah, the inches are right in front of your face, and you know you have to crawl and scream and scratch for that inch, and that's the difference between winning and losing, guys. You know, that is the difference between winning and losing. That's football. That's
Amen,
all football.
Coach
That's
Steve.
all football is. And in this case, sometimes, you know, when teams face the most adversity, sometimes they play the best, and the Redskins have done this before. The Reds just when things look darkest, you know, look at the Seattle game last year. It was a mash unit game then, and they went into Seattle and won. I actually think, believe it or not, I'm going to predict a win.
Oh, my God.
I can't believe I'm even saying this, but I'm going to predict a win. It's going to be a low-scoring affair, you know, I think. But I'm thinking the Redskins can eke out like 20 points or so. Yeah. And so I'm going to say I'm going to say 2013 Redskins.
Okay.
There you go. Take that, people. And Al, I'm sorry I co-opted badly your speech.
That's the exact same score that we had last time, Steve. It's going to be interesting if we do that twice.
Oh, wait, is that true? What did I say, 2013? Oh, I got to
2013
change
Kansas.
that. Hold on, I got to change that. That's no good. Well, let's say,
Say 18-13.
no, you know what? Oh, gosh.
I totally threw a
I'm going to
wrench
say
into the works.
17-13 because that'd be a touchdown and a couple field goals and, you know.
Sure.
a couple
Defensible.
touchdowns, field goal. Yeah. Okay.
Defensible.
17-13.
All right. Well, that you heard it here first, folks. Hot takes here on one of the most chaotic and crazy Redskins weeks that we've.
And the
what's
Redskins,
that?
we're starting the Josh Johnson fan club on this site.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, and so if you guys want to be a part of the Josh Johnson fan club, the membership is $15 a year. So mail it to the Hogstye.
Yes.
You know, we'll take PayPal. And for your $15, you will get all updated, great content about Josh and his life and his football career. It'll be worth it, I promise. So $15 will get you for the whole year. It's a discount rate.
God help us if someone actually sends us money.
I know, I was going to say.
What would we do? What would we do?
You have to, Steve, you're stuck doing a year-long podcast about Josh Johnson.
Can you imagine? I already do
commit to
3
it.
a week. I don't want to do the Josh Johnson fan club podcast. Forget I said. Never mind. You guys just blew it. Forget I said that.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll let that one go. All right, cool. Well, that's the Hawkseye this week. We will, of course, be back with you next time to recap this game, however it goes. And keep on coming back to thehawkseye.com because we got new comments and content, coming every single day. We'll see you then.